trends and challenges in material handling and the supply chain. What came out of the spring 2022 meeting of the MHI Solutions Community. To talk about it, I'm joined by Christian Dow. He is Executive Vice President for Leadership and Membership, Industry Leadership and Membership with MHI. Hello, Christian.
Hello, Bob. How are you?
Good, thank you. Brian Poveromo, he is Director of Facilities and Maintenance with American Eagle Outfitters, Inc. Hello, Brian.
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
Good, thank you. And Satyan Patek, he is Account Executive with Design Conveyor Systems, LLC. Hello, Satyan.
Hello, Robert. Nice to be here.
Thanks again to all of you for joining me for these few minutes to talk about it. Let me start by just asking you, Christian, tell me about the MHI Solutions Community. What is its makeup and its mission?
Yeah, so the Solutions Community is one of the industry groups that MHI runs. And so MHI being the overall association for material handling, we have 17 industry groups. A lot of them are product focused, like ASRS and conveyors and sortation and robotics and mobile automation, things like that. The Solutions Community isn't really a product focused. It really looks at, what we want to do is bring together practitioners such as Brian and other practitioners that we brought to our meeting, discuss the trends and challenges that the community is having or the industry is having. And then the Solutions Community really looks at near term, the next 2 years out, and how to solve those challenges with the technologies and solutions that are here today and what's coming in the near future. And so we really have a membership that's made up of end users, practitioners, but then also consultants, media, academia. We have a lot of the KICME members, the College Industry Council for Material Handling Education, professors involved in our community as well. And then the OEMs, software providers, and other solutions providers, integrators, and organizations like that. So they all just come together, and it's really it's not specific to a certain technology or things like that. It's really the whole community coming together. And as Brian found out, and Brian's done a couple of these, he gets to really talk to this community and help shape their direction for the future to make sure that they're going back to the drawing board with challenges that they can meet in the near future.
Very important. Yeah, thanks for that. So you got together for the spring 2022 meeting. Brian, tell me, what were you looking for going into this meeting? What were you hoping to achieve?
I think one of the biggest things I was trying to achieve is that relationship with the suppliers, the OEMs, and getting that communication. There's always been a gap between us users and those producing the equipment. When we go to these meetings, we get that opportunity to meet and speak and find out that we're all on the same page, and we're all striving for the same thing. And we were able to get out of, like, human augmentation was a discussion in the last meeting, and how automation is going to help augment the human factor, and finding out that what everybody's producing has a place, but we need to discuss more deeply what that place is. So don't just go out and buy something, or don't just go out and sell something. What is it that your end users need? And I'm thinking we all got something out of that was really huge.
Yeah, well, I do want to talk about that. It's interesting too that you get beyond this, buyer and seller type of thing. Of course, you go to a big show like ProMat or something like that, and you get the vendors trying to sell you something. But here you're going beyond that to a deeper discussion, maybe about what it is you really need and what you're looking for. Satyan, tell me what your hopes were in coming into this meeting, and what you were looking to achieve there, how you find it of value.
Yeah, absolutely, Robert. So honestly, this was my first solutions meeting, so I really didn't know what to expect, but I can tell you what I took away from it. And a lot of it was just refreshing to see panelists from different industries that were representative. And then as we talk about labor augmentation or different technologies, how does that fit within certain vertical markets, and what's the difference between retail versus food and beverage and other opportunities there? And I found it very insightful to, one, get the feedback collectively from the panelists, and then also the kind of the collaboration that happened within the group, and how we, it's considered a safe space to be able to talk about how we can meet demands in supply chain. Obviously, all of the concerns from the last 2 years. So I definitely will join again in the next spring conference for this session as well.
Christian, going in based on what you were expecting and what came out of it, the big themes, the big challenges, what was your takeaway from this particular meeting?
It was our first one since 2019 for the spring. And so it was
you didn't even do a virtual one up to that point, or
well, we did virtual ones, but it just doesn't have the collaboration and things. And so really before the panelists have their opportunity to speak, we get together in roundtables and really set up discussions. And those roundtables lead into questions that are used by the moderator to speak to the or to ask of the panelists. And so like the panelists now, along with Brian, we had Brenda Kilpatrick from VF Imagewear, which VF owns brands like Levi's and Vans and things like that. North Face is another big brand that they own, but they have many brands under their and so she's the VP of Global Product Flow and Fulfillment Network. And then Zach Riggs from Kroger, which obviously is one of the largest, if not the largest grocery chain across the country. And so there's very different perspectives, but that collaboration that the members of the solutions community get with each other, and then resulting in a more meaningful discussion with the panelists. And as Brian mentioned, the topic was the augmentation of human capital, and what do we do to make the people, they can't find enough people to fill these roles. So how do you make the people that you have more valuable and things like that? And so really coming into it, that was the key to the whole thing, is really kind of figure out what is the challenge that's the biggest concern right now, and how do we address that, and how do we go to work on that, and things. And so I think that really just through the meeting, the most valuable parts are members talking to members, and then the panel, really learning from the panel, the output from those discussions that members are having with each other, going into the panel and coming out as information that the panel is saying, yes, this is really where we need to go in our concerns, and these are your challenges.
I really like the phrase human augmentation, because as opposed to just the word robotics, because when you say robotics, what do you think of? You have an image of robots swarming all over a warehouse. Human augmentation means that people are still in the in the picture, which of course is the case with so much automation these days. Brian, what is it that most excited you? What did you come out of the meeting with most excited about in terms of a vision for the future, the types of solutions you think are really going to work for you going forward?
There's so many solutions, Bob, that keep on coming up, and the exciting piece is the AI, and that the ability to augment humans and not replace humans. And how are we getting the automation to work better with people, and talking with the OEMs and everything that they're doing? You see that progression. And what we look for in the future may not be here today, but they're working on it, and they're hungry to hear from the community what we need. And that was what I really left with, is they do care about what we need.
Yeah. Sajjan, what about you? What excited you about this meeting? Now you're very first, and you're hoping to return, of course. You must have gotten something out of it. Well, what was that?
Yeah, it was really the collaboration piece. We all have technologies that we present to customers in the industry, and it's always nice to hear how someone applies a different technology in a different manner, and how can you leverage that into different retail spaces or into fulfillment centers or distribution centers. I did find that there's a common theme on return on investment was a good part of the discussion. It's constantly changing just based on today's interest rates and things of that nature, and supply chain constraints. So being able to have that discussion openly as far as getting return on investment has dramatically changed. And I found that was very interesting. And it's something that we as an industry should also kind of consider now as we move forward into implementing new technologies, and how do we leverage that on human augmentation as we're talking. And I also did find that there was a phrase that Brian, I think you had opened with, was it's about human augmentation, not human elimination. And I really found that that's our main goal in the industry. And so to have that, kind of planted across all of the folks that were there, and to have that takeaway, I found that really a really interesting piece of this committee.
I thought the other part that was interesting to kind of add to Satyen's comment was that sometimes ROI isn't even in the factor because it's just ability to get it done or not get it done.
Yeah.
Like the ROI is, in some cases, it doesn't matter, it doesn't factor in because it's just, there's no other way to get it done. You can't hire enough people. You can't solve this problem without these projects and without these solutions.
That's where you go from nice to have to must have. Yeah.
Right.
Interesting. So Christian, when's the next meeting of the Solutions Community, and where can people go if they want to find out more information about this group?
Yeah, so the next meeting will be at our annual conference, which will be in San Antonio at the JW Marriott Hill Country, San Antonio, October 2nd through 4th, coming up. So, and then you can learn more about the Solutions Community at mhi.org/Solutions Community.
Fantastic. I want to thank all three of you for joining me today to talk about the work of the MHI Solutions Community, what came out of its spring meeting and where you guys are going forward, and just how important it is that you're getting together. I love the implication of what you're saying is that we still need to meet in person to really communicate and collaborate with one another. Here we are saying it virtually, and yet it's so important that we all still come together at these meetings going forward. Thanks for that message.
Absolutely.
On top of everything else, guys. Christian Dow, Brian Povamoro, Satyen Patek, really thank you for your time today. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.